Hi, my name is David Greenblatt, and I've been involved with families for many years, including with single mothers that have gone through divorce. And this is, I feel, a quick life-altering class that addresses man's understanding of the emotional needs of his wife and how, through that understanding, he can create a loving marriage and literally change the framework and change the platform of his marriage. The question we have here is, how do we demonstrate love to our wives so that they're in a state where they're singing to themselves? As I often say, if your wife is singing to herself when she has free time and she's humming and she's in a great place, you don't need this class. But if not, we have to ask ourselves, why isn't she? And as men, we do what we can. If we're healthy and we want to have beautiful marriages, we all do, we'll do a lot of things. We'll buy her what she wants. We'll give her all the money that she needs. We'll take care of the children. We'll take out the garbage. We'll make sure that all of life's needs are pleasant and comfortable. But at the end of the day, for some reason, that does not create the love that we need. In fact, there's a joke, and I'm not a favorite of marriage jokes, but there's a joke where the man says to a woman, "Look at all the things I do," and he goes through this list. Take out the garbage, study with the kids, give you money, gave you a beautiful home, a beautiful car, take care of everything. And she says, okay, so that's one thing. And in reality, it's really nothing in her perspective of what she needs in her soul to be full of joy. In addition, if we do understand what I'm going to teach you, it also helps to reduce friction. Very often I'll ask women that are divorced after many years of marriage, I'll say, why did you finally get divorced? And they'll say, commonly, I couldn't take it anymore. And it could be unreliability, dishonesty, abusive, some minor addiction. And I say to myself, why were they able to tolerate it for a few years and they finally couldn't take it anymore? And I believe that it's because they weren't and don't feel loved. In many cases, if she feels that she's loved and she's in the right place and she's happy, she'll tolerate a level of friction that she won't tolerate if she doesn't feel that she has what she needs. So the question is, how do I address this? First of all, this is not a failure in women. It's not a discussion of their capabilities, whether they're stronger, wiser, have greater operating skills, accounting skills, legal skills, management skills. That's not the topic. The topic is simply in this area of romance and simply in the relationship with the husband, what we can do to change the relationship with our wife and to make her joyful. So, first of all, let's understand, and second thing is that this is really a blessing, because if we do understand what she needs, then we also can create a beautiful marriage. So what is her need is our opportunity to create love and a relationship. And let's go through what her soul needs. And we're going to go back in Genesis it says that when Eve was created, God, and she sinned, Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden, God said that one of the limitations I'm going to put on Eve is that she's going to count on her husband's love. She's going to want her husband to want her. Now, let's understand when God creates something like that and he defines something like that, what that means. First of all, it means that she's counting on her husband. He's the only person in the world that can supply that need. And that's difficult, of course, because she needs someone else to do something for her. So that's going to be hard. The second thing is that she's constantly asking herself this. She has an electronic thermometer, if you wish, in her mind that says, does he really love me? And she's asking herself all day, does he really, really love me? Does he admire me? Does he think I'm special? In addition, it will never get to 100% because any limitation of God can't be perfectly solved. So no matter what we do as men, we'll make it better and we'll get her to sing and hum, but she'll still ask herself, maybe it could be a little better. In addition, she cannot tell him what she needs. She can't express this to him. Men will always say, just tell me what you want. But she can't do that. She can't express that to him. And in fact, if you told her this class, she would tell you, of course. Because in addition, as part of this limitation is, she thinks you know this. She thinks you understand what I'm teaching you, and therefore she's a little frustrated because if you know what she needs and you know that she needs to be specifically loved and admired in a clear way, then why aren't you doing that? So we have a woman who is counting on her husband to give her love. It's a constant quest. She's never 100%. She thinks that he knows it already, and in addition, there's no arithmetic for her. The fact that I do A, do B, do C. I take care of the kids. I do their homework. I bring home money. I take care of her financially. I take care of all her physical needs. In addition, the arithmetic for would say, well, I must love you. There's no arithmetic for that. The only way to touch her soul is to give her specific and meaningful statements of love and admiration. I love the way that you talk to the children. I'm crazy about the fact that when I come home, you always ask me about my day. I love the fact that you're always worried that I should have a meal that I enjoy. I like that lipstick on you. That dress looks great. It has to be meaningful because part of her state of being is she's going to repel meaningless compliments. She only wants and she will only respond. And you can test this yourself. Go home and tell your wife a compliment like this and you'll see that she smiles and she'll say, "Oh, you really like the dress?" So this is our opportunity to feed her soul the love and admiration that she deserves. There are corollaries to her state of being which we also are helpful to understand. Men will say they're sorry 10 to 100 times a day. Women will say they're sorry a lot less. Some women don't even like to lose at a board game because all of these things, anything that would admit to a little of a failure, is in her soul, in her subconscious. I need to be loved. I need to be admired. I need to be cherished and special. So if I make mistakes and if I lost at the game and if I didn't do something right, then he may not love me or admire me, and that would be for me terrible. In addition, she can't hear criticism of any sort, and all of the small barbs that a man might say, "Oh, my wife can't drive," or "She's afraid of bugs," all of these things which might not be as meaningful between guys are to her chips in the armor of whether he really loves me, and if he loves me, why would he be making fun of me? Why would he have made that comment? In fact, sometimes it's hard for her to accept positive advice, just great advice, because if he's giving me advice, it means I didn't know it. And if I'm in a wonderful state and I'm perfect and beautiful, then how can I receive that advice from him? And finally, she's certainly sensitive to hearing the mention of other women. So we have to be careful not to mention other women to our wives. So here's an opportunity for us to help and respond to Chava's eternal state of being, that is, to be loved in a meaningful way from her husband with clear statements of love and whatever love language that is, but to be sure that they're touching her soul. So if you want to go out to eat, it's not "let's go out to eat." You might want to do that because you want her to feel good, but you have to say, "Let's go out to eat because I love being with you. I love talking to you. I love hearing about your day. I love sitting with you." Okay? So, and that will help her for an hour. But if we do this constantly as men, we can ignite and spark her soul to feel the happiness and joy of a deep relationship, and she will respond. And once she responds, then we will have a two-way relationship of love, a warmth of a husband and wife to create a couple that can do glorious things in their lives, in their community, and if they're blessed with children and their family. Guys, go try it. Go try it. Compliment your wife. Give her a meaningful compliment and look at her eyes and look at her smile. Thanks.